Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl?
Thank you, Madam President. Several things I want to say. First, I want to let everybody realize that we've reached the age where we have to get away from plastic and go to canvas. It's not easy for me, to be candid about it. I put 3 or 4 of these in the back of my car, and when I get to the supermarket, I forget it. I go back out and I get them. And over the last couple of 3 months, really thanks to Alex Fay, my environmental deputy, I'm a guilty guy. I always feel guilty about things. I just would go back to the car and get them. So now I'm pretty well trained to go to this rather than my plastic bags. And I also want to say Whole Foods, and I know we have political issues with Whole Foods, but they got rid of their plastic bags and they taped the paper bag, and they give me a 5-cent credit when I walk in with this or give it to a charity. So this is simple, but I'm a simple guy. I even go through my garbage to make sure we start separating everything into the blue bin. I've put blue bins up on Venice Beach. Millions of people go there where you can actually separate. I've done it in the Palisades. I'm doing it on San Vicente in Brentwood. And I think every public space in the city should have that blue bin. And so we must look at ourselves, look at our air, look at our lives, and change our habits. You know, the Bayona Creek is in my district. And to see the styrofoam stuff, and to see the plastic, and to see the fish, and to see all of that, we know it's wrong. We just have to get out of it. This is a slow step process here that works. Quickly, tell us exactly what we're voting on.
Yes, Councilman. What you're voting on this morning would be a city facilities and city events ban on the use of the EPS food services products. There's a number of items related to that ban, as well as the instruction to the Department of General Services and Sanitation to report back to the council. In the report, initial recommendations was annually. We've also heard quarterly to the council and the mayor's office on the status of those efforts, what our findings are, the use of alternative products, what some cost implications are, availability of alternative products, all those things, so that when we come back to the council, you have the information to look at what things you would like to do regarding policy. We also, in the recommendations, have a citywide ban on the use of plastic carryout bags at all supermarkets and retail establishments beginning January 1st of 2012 if a fee has not been established by that time. And there is a movement at the state level to impose a 25-cent fee per bag fee on plastic bags.
When they've done that in other states, it's been very effective and around the world, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, in our report, we did a number of case studies looking at other jurisdictions within California, other states, and internationally as well. Of course, we find that the best solution to a bag problem is reusable bags. As you mentioned, the canvas bags, reusable bags, is the best solution for a number of reasons. So that recommendation is also in there. And the council has already taken an action back in April to support that state legislation, AB 2058, and we have some recommendations that would, I think, further strengthen that bill in terms of the effects to local government. And we've discussed that, but we're looking at, rather than having diversion targets, imposing a fee on the bags, and then looking at a per capita breakdown for the funding formula to come back to local jurisdictions to do programs. And those are really the recommendations we have before you today.
And I certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate Mr. Cardenas's comments about phasing it in, working over time, getting things organized. You know, I'm in a unique spot. My seatmate on my left is a moderate Republican. My seatmate on my right is a Democrat liberal. Okay? So when you find both sides agreeing on a policy, we know it's a good thing, okay? And I know there's a little mumbling going on when I said that. But let me ask you if we can do this, because I saw what the House of Representatives is doing. Nancy Pelosi took leadership. They banned all that stuff in their cafeterias. They're setting a model for the whole nation of what they've done already. I'd like you to take my LAX, which is in my district. It's everybody's airport. And the question is, LAX has a lot of food service concessions. Will those operations be part of this ban on expanded polyethylene?
Yes, they would. It would be all city facilities, including proprietary departments as well. There's a specific instruction regarding the proprietaries. And we've already had those discussions with LAX, with LA World Airports, Recreation and Parks, the Harbor Department, and others that have food concessions.
Good. And then how can we assure that new materials that we use instead of polyethylene, I can't even pronounce it right, will be more eco-friendly alternatives? I mean, we don't want to replace one bad thing with something else.
And that's a really good point, is that, and we hear that from a lot of our stakeholders, is that what are the unintended consequences? If you ban one product, what are the consequences of the alternative products? And that's actually part of our reporting back. We'll be looking at all those alternative products, availability and their impacts.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, colleagues, we want to become the greenest city in the world. This is a step in that direction. This is another threshold that we're meeting. When I did the Shell station on hydrogen, that was a major moment. This is a major moment for our city to bite the bullet and go forward with what is more ecologically sensitive than what we've ever done before. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Alarcon.
Members, I just wanted to